Madam Deputy Chairperson, we today heard much about the President's dream. And much was said about whether the President's dream will realize or not. But we should remind ourselves that we were elected not only to represent the dreams of our constituents, but also attend to the nightmares our people face every day. Chairperson, through you, Mr. President, you rightly said that a grandmother should not wait a whole day for medicine. But, Mr. President, equally, it would be very difficult for two healthcare professionals who were raped in the Pananomian Hospital while on duty last month to share your dream. Indeed, Mr. President, it's unacceptable for a pregnant mother to have her own and the life of her unborn child endangered owing to slow ambulances. But, Mr. President, equally, it's not acceptable for residents of Mangaung for the umpteenth time in a year to have no water for 4 days, as was the case of the past weekend. As we speak, the city of Johannesburg has a similar problem. Mr. President, you committed this government to improving service delivery, but how is it possible that the Metro Police Chief had been appointed in Mangaung more than a year ago, and there's no visible sign of any Metro Police Department as of today? How is it possible that many Free State municipalities that have been put under Section 139 administration of ANC provincial governments remain poorly managed? Again, Mr. President, it will be hard for the residents of Brandfort and the Free State to share in your dream of South Africa, where having water is an exception and not a rule. As long as government persists with appointing unable and unwilling officials in key positions, the nightmare that is the lack of service delivery will remain in South Africa. Intussen verwag die Departement van Openbare Werke dat die private sektor nou moet betrokke raak in die bou en instandhouding van infrastruktuur, niet om 20 jaar later dieselfde infrastruktuur wat hulle gebou het en bestuur het aan die staat oor te dra. Effektiewelik het die departement nou erken hy 'n swak staat moet bestuur waarin die regering nie meer infrastruktuur kan bou nie. Speaker, nothing good can come from this. As soon as government are not able to deliver on basic needs such as infrastructure, the nightmare of a failed state will begin. We also heard about government's plan of spatial integration. This dream is also becoming a nightmare again for Mangaung residents, where more than 140 million rand have been spent only on planning of the N8 corridor that should bring communities together. But neither the Auditor General nor residents can until today see any planning that was done. Mr. President, we have to wake up from this nightmare before we can start dreaming. We can dream of our children being able to read at the age of 10, but Mr. President, will they be able to read in their own language? Will they and their parents have the freedom to choose whether they will have education in their mother tongue should they wish to, or will government and MECs persist to force their Anglophile policies on our nation? Mr. President, those modern cities you wish to build should have universities, but universities where Sotho-speaking people can learn in Sotho, Zulu students be taught in Zulu, and Afrikaans people and students be able to learn in Afrikaans. This is a dream worth having and endeavoring. Agbare president, voor die maand het jy gesê jy wil graag op hoogte bly van plaasaanvalle. Meneer die president, vir Johan van Niekerk van Nigel, wat met 'n piksteel aangeval is, en Frans Beskagni van Lichtenburg, wat met stokke geslaan is, gaan dit moeilik wees om jou droom te deel. Vir die families van Moelman Meyer van Ermelo, wat met 'n panga doodgekap is, en Johan Pretorius van Nigel, wat doodgebrand is tydens plaasmoorde, niet in die afgelope maand, sal dit moeilik wees om uit die nagmerries van plaasaanvalle wakker te word. Meneer President, Mr. President, more than 180 farm attacks already this year cannot be part of your dream. Die VFPLUS sê ook dankie aan ons boere en hulle werkers, wat aanhou boer ten spyte van onseker beleid, onveilige landelike toestande, duurder insetkoste en swak paaie. Soos ons leier gesê het, agbare Groenewald gesê, die Vryheidsfront wil saambou aan 'n droom. Maar president, maak eers seker Suid-Afrika se nagmerries word stil, dan bou ons saam. Ek dank u.